Welcome back to another recap of the challenge, Ride or Dies. This is episode 10, and last week we saw the twist finally come into play where they were split into two teams. Fessy and Mariah had the honors of choosing that, and because of that, there was no elimination. Basically, I kind of expressed my feelings about this twist in the last episode, and I was very nervous of the bloodline thing coming back, where a player kind of gets eliminated without even getting to compete because their partner loses an elimination. I'm happy to say that did not happen in this episode. The twist takes another turn, which we will get into later in this episode, so don't you go anywhere. Anyway, we come back to the house. Both teams pretty much call team meetings, kind of get to know each other, see what is our strategy, like what are we feeling out. Fessy's team seems super pumped. They think that they're stacked. They're like, we're going to easily bulldoze our way through this competition. Fessy pulled one over on Mariah, and the other team doesn't really have that same energy. Chauncey even mentions this. It's very quiet over there, but Nani acts like they built like this amazing team. She's like, let's just shout out Mariah for building such a sick team. I'm like, okay, let's not act like this is something it's not. Devin's kind of going down a list of things that they could do better at. I do think that they have the more intelligent team when it comes to puzzles or memory stuff. And I do think that there is some maybe speed or endurance there. But I don't know. That other team are physical specimens. So it's hard to tell. But in confessional, Devin also says that he would never say this in front of his team, but it's going to be an uphill battle. So we separate. We get a shot of Devin and Jordan outside. And Devin essentially tells him that his main goal in this game moving forward is to keep himself and Tori and Jordan and Anissa safe, but that's only as long as it's reciprocated. So they're kind of feeling each other out. They're on the same team now, and they haven't really worked well together in the past. Jordan doesn't think he can trust Devin, but seeing that he's with Tori, he's trying to do so. So they kind of walk away from that. With a little bit of the Tori and Jordan drama, tried to put that to rest, but they seem as though they're on the same page moving forward. So then the rest of the house is kind of commenting on this Tori and Jordan situation. And honestly, I think it's very unfair to Jordan. They were engaged. They do have a history together, but I don't think that that means he should just feel the need to be any certain type of way because of that. I think he's been very clear that they're not together. They're not getting back together. Sure, they've cuddled, they've rekindled things, but I think that's more of a comfortability and a reconnection than it is anything else. And I think it's mainly on Tori's side where they haven't seen each other in so long. So this is just very new to her. Jordan has consistently brought up the fact that she's done this on national, global television for the last few seasons, and it's very hypocritical. And I have to agree. Everyone's kind of taking Tori's side. I wouldn't want to see that either. But he had to sit at home and watch that as well. And not only on the show, but there were just everything flying around in the challenge universe. So I can definitely see where he's coming from. I mean, I understand why she's upset. I just don't think that it's warranted for everyone to jump on the Tori bandwagon here. This is kind of a personal situation that they've kind of already discussed. We saw a screaming match last week. Well, not even a screaming match. Tori screamed at Jordan last week. So, I don't know. I feel like it just kind of needs to be put to bed and, let's just move forward from here. It's not that freaking serious. Y'all aren't together. So, we get to the daily last life. They ran way too long with this Puss in Boots thing. We didn't need to see everyone's cats. We didn't need to hear about people's love for the Shrek franchise. Let's move along here, okay? So, essentially, after 5 minutes of Puss in Boots promo, it's just two decks connected by a beam over the water. You send out players one at a time. They battle it off. The team with the last people standing essentially wins. It's their last life on the team. It's a guys' heat first. Nelson versus Devin. Both of them go down, but because Nelson was the last to fall, he wins that round. I thought that was weird. I feel like if you both fall, you both lose a life. It's not like Nelson came back up afterwards anyway. Horacio and Bananas. Horacio puts up a hell of a fight. They're going at it for a while, and he gets the win without even falling off himself. This kid is one of the most impressive rookies I've seen in a long time. And I hope, you know what, I can't say I hope he sticks around, because I do, like, in terms of the franchise. But at the same time, like, this might rub some of you guys the wrong way. I don't want another Casey. I don't want this competitor who brings nothing else to the table. At least we saw, like, the Horacio and Laurel element. But even, like, the beginnings of Casey and Nany, we never really saw it until it was already established. So, bring some more to the table, please, from a entertainment perspective, I guess. Chauncey versus Jordan. Chauncey gets this dude off balance a few times. I don't know how Jordan even stays up. He's, like, contorting his body and flying around in the weirdest of ways. But he gets himself twice before Chauncey finally gets the better of him. Fessy versus Kenny. Kenny literally says, like, Fessy would beat anyone up here, so I am basically just a sacrifice for him. And it literally looks like he taps him, and Kenny goes flying off the platform. So now Horacio is the only person from his team up there. They send out Fessy. And while he puts up more of a fight than Kenny, he doesn't stand a chance, and Fessy's team wins the guys' heat. When it comes to the girls, it's Mariah versus Casey. Casey chucks Mariah off of this beam. I'm talking throws her off. Olivia versus Nany. Olivia gets the win here, and Nany hits the water hard. I mean, medics have to come get her out of the water, and they take her away in, like, a little ambulance. And she doesn't return for the rest of this challenge. Amber versus Tori. They're doing some little weird sword puss in boots shit, and Tori easily wins. And then Nerissa and Anissa go up next, and Anissa's literal goal is not to hurt Nerissa. Obviously, Nerissa's not getting Anissa off that beam. So the girls clean sweep that one, and Fessy's team wins the overall challenge with ease. TJ lets them know it is a guys' week. You will be interrogating all 4 of the losing guys. We get into the deliberation. We see the entire team there. Everyone kind of is talking about who they want to protect, but no one's really giving up their game fully. They do say that they want to keep Kenny because they see him as the weakest link, basically, like he's the lowest threat over there. And if they get out any of the other 3 guys, it's going to weaken their team, which will then help them continue winning moving forward. Tori says that she's only protecting Devin, and she's even pushing for them to take the shot, which is kind of insinuating that she's going for Jordan. Up until this point, they've been playing on the same side. Like, they have had this alliance, and I still believe, like, if Jordan says he's going to do something, he does it. Like, if he says, I'm going to look out for Tori, I do believe that. I don't think, like, he's not looking out for her. But also, like, that's Anissa's partner. Like, you're supposed to be best friend to turn. You're coming for take the shot. It didn't sit well with me. So they start bringing the guys in one by one. Kenny basically says he would like to go in and hopefully go on Horacio. He thinks that if he's not their vote, that he won't be saved with the dagger pool anyways. So if he has a chance to kind of call someone out, he would like to go against another rookie. Horacio comes in, says that Devin or Jordan is the strongest person on the team, and they should go that way, but that he's not afraid to go in. He's been in 3 times already. I believe him when he says he's not afraid to go in, but at the same time, you've proven yourself. I would try to avoid it as well. But the entire Jordan or Devin are better thing, I'm not saying that they're not better, but I also think that Horacio views himself as pretty good at this game now. I don't think like he's underselling himself. So I think this is just a tactic to try to stay out of the zone. Devin openly says that it's past the point of playing nice in the sandbox, really. Like, there is no not rocking the boat at this point. Because Bananas kind of says, like, would you do the easy thing or would you rock the boat? Which, if I'm Chauncey on that team, I'm the only rookie guy. I'm like, okay, so you're basically saying I'm the easy vote, which you are. But I feel like that could have created more turmoil in the team than we were shown. And who knows, maybe it did, and it will come up later. But anyway, Devin says, like, there's no more not rocking the boat. It is what it is. And so at this point, you have to look at who has the least likely chance of returning, because most likely if we come back, it's not going to be good for you that you said our name. Jordan says that if he's the main vote, they're not going to put someone strong against him, hinting that they're probably going to put Kenny. And that means he's more than likely to come back. So he's like, if you want to avoid that problem altogether, just don't put me in. Because if you do put me in, I'm coming back. And you don't want an angry Jordan. Tori point blank asked him, if roles were reversed, would you have my back? And he's pretty insulted by this. Like I said, he pretty much is a man of his word, and he does play with integrity. And so I think that her kind of calling him on this is kind of like catches him off guard. And even though like this whole thing is going on between him and Nerys, I don't think he has any ill will towards Tori, or that he would be gunning for her over all these other people that he doesn't have relationships with. So they come out. They don't really say who's going in. They're still kind of torn between a few people. But Nany comes back to the house that night, and she's fine. They ran some tests. No concussion. She's good to continue. Everybody goes out for the night. Tori and Fessy are talking about how they would like to take a big shot, but Tori's kind of leaning against it now, because next week, if we take a big shot, they're going to return that, and then it's the girls. So it means basically it would be her or Casey off of their team. And she kind of lays this out to Fessy, like, we're two of the strongest girls on this team. You don't want to lose us. We're also kind of looking out for you. I mean, Casey 100% is, but even at this point, Tori's not going after him. So if you want us to stick around, you might not want to take the shot yet. Then she makes her way over to Jordan, apologizes, says she wants him to be happy. She tries to talk strategy with him, but I don't think it matters, because he still believes he is the number one target in the eyes of the winning team, especially the guys on that winning team. So he's not really giving a lot in terms of strategy. We get to the zone where TJ says everyone's going to get a vote. And who is your vote, Fessy? And at that point, like, he turns and he's talking to the whole crew, like, who's going in, who's going in. Like, they literally weren't even prepared. But we get a Nelson confessional where he says that he, Chauncey, and Olivia were left out of the decision altogether, that he knows everyone else on that team came to a decision and they just didn't tell them. That caught me by surprise, especially considering that Nelson is one of the people who was left out, and he and Fessy are like boys. Like, I was like, that's kind of weird. And I think the fact that they showed that means it's going to turn into something down the line, but it definitely caught me off guard there. So they start voting, and Horacio is just getting vote after vote. He basically is like, keep them coming. He's like, whatever. Like, I've been in. I'm going in. I'm prepared. Olivia feels blindsided because she thought they were going for big players. That's what we said in deliberation. And now we're here. We're doing something different. So Horacio is the vote. The only vote that doesn't go to him is Olivia's, and she votes for Kenny. At the draw, Devin gets the first pull, and he pulls safe. So we get to see where he really stands on this situation with Jordan. His dilemma is either keeping the team strong or saving Kenny, because he knows if they lose again, he will have to go against another guy on his team. And who would he rather go against, Kenny or Horacio and Jordan? Ultimately, he does end up saving Jordan, and kind of surprised me a little bit, but not really. I mean, it's still early in this whole new team dynamic, so you kind of got to do what you got to do. And next week, it's a girls' week, so let's try to preserve our girls as well. So it's Kenny versus Horacio in Breaking Barriers. It's basically just a giant hallway blocked with several doors made of different material. There are tools that you can use to get through these doors at the start, and first one to the middle hits a button, and they win. First one is drywall. They both just start kicking right through it. Horacio gets through first, and the next one has a ton of locks on it, so they grab bolt cutters and just get to work. Horacio gets through that one, and the next one is wood, so he gets an axe, and he gets through that one while Kenny is still working on the locks. I don't know what happened with these locks, but he is kind of struggling. The very last door is like nuts and bolts along the door, so you have to literally like wrench these bolts off, and there's quite a few of them. Horacio says that like this is the one he was most nervous about, and he's taken quite a while to the point where Kenny catches up to him. But now it's just whoever gets that door open first. With that head start, Horacio gets it. I honestly think if he didn't have as big of a head start, Kenny could have got that, because it looked like he was moving through it pretty quickly. But it's an edit, so it's hard to really tell what's going on. Like I said in the beginning, I was scared of the bloodlines thing where now that Kenny's gone, Casey has to have a partner, so she has to leave. But she doesn't. She gets to say, thank God they didn't do that twist. And so everyone kind of leaves, goes back to the house. TJ stays after, and Kenny comes out. And he basically tells him that you live and die by your ride or die. As long as Casey's alive in this game, you still have a chance. So basically, you're not out of the game until your entire team is out of the game. If both of you get eliminated, you're out. But if not, you're going to have a chance to come back. So I think that these teams are going to continue for quite a few weeks before a final. And then whoever's left standing, their partner will come back and they'll run a final together. It's not the most efficient way to kind of do this, I guess. But I like it better than just not even having a chance and you going home. I think it's going to be cool to see those teams come back and then run together after kind of everything that happens, because I think that this is an early one, but there's going to be a lot of drama down the road. So I'm excited to see these teams still compete together in the end. I think Nany has a great shot with Bananas, better than she's ever had. I like seeing some of these teams work together. I think it's going to be good to see how they maneuver this twist, especially not knowing how it's going to play out. But that is going to do it for this week's episode. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you think of the twist. Let me know how you think that the girls' week is going to play out next week. Will they take a big shot, or are they going to reciprocate what happened here? And until then, I will see you in the next one. Peace.